Hello everybody, happy Halloween. My name's Jodi Lakin. How are you doing today? I am doing very well, thank you. I'm doing much better than last week, so I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who sent me well wishes last week. I did have a little bit of a cold, but it seems to have gone now. I still have a runny nose, but other than that, I'm fine. So thank you for your well wishes, that's really kind of you. Today I wanted to do my last little Halloween picture on my channel for this year. I think I do love Halloween and I really like the whole season, but as it comes to the end of it, I feel like I've done so many Halloween pictures that I'm kind of not tired of it by the end, but I feel like I've definitely drained everything I can from Halloween. So today I thought I would do something a little different than what I've been doing the last few weeks, and that is a haunted house. Yay! I'm very excited to do this. I actually just love drawing houses, and one of my very early videos on this channel, I drew lots of little houses, and I just love houses. I love little doors and little windows and and everything. So that's what I'm going to do today. First of all, I wanted to draw the outline of the house, and I want to have it kind of smaller at the bottom and going out bigger at the top. And this is to make the house look very tall. But also it's kind of to make it look a little wonky, a little crooked, I guess, because I think that adds a little bit more character. And I also want the roofs to have like little pointy features on them. But something that I want to make a little bit unique to this house and to make it not look like a haunted house so much are the colours. So I've actually picked out how many colors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors to use on this picture, and I only want to stick to those 6 colors. So I am only going to be using those. So first of all, I wanted to outline everything with a black pen, and I think I'm using the Pigma Micron, and I think I'm using 05, which is one of the thicker nibs that they do. And then I'm gonna use some paints as well. So when I start painting, I am going to do a voiceover while I'm painting, so you can join me in the painting process. So I'm using the Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolor. They're not really watercolors, they're like a specific mixture. But I want to limit myself to this palette. So I've chosen this palette. I went online onto Pinterest and I just looked at like nice color combinations, and then I chose this one. The thing with these watercolors is they tend to be, the color is quite opaque. So as you can see, as I'm going over some of that black, it's sort of disappearing a little bit, which can be a little bit annoying. But as it dries, you should be able to see it a little bit more. It should go a little bit more translucent. Also, I don't want to be too neat with it. Like, it is a haunted house, so I do want it to have a sort of loose kind of look to it. So I decided to use the light green for the house because I think that is a little bit more of an unusual choice. I think that haunted houses tend to be very dark looking, so I thought I would do the house pale green. Hopefully this works out okay how I imagined. So I have all these other colours to use. I'm just waiting for that to dry as well, because if I put any other colours like here next to where the paint is wet, then it will just begin to bleed right away into the colour, and I don't want that for this particular drawing. So what I could do is I could paint the stairs here, and I could also paint the pumpkins. So what I love about these paints too is that you can just take them out of the whole container and just take out the ones that you want to use. So I'm going to paint the grass green. What a surprise. And I'm going to do it in this sage green. It's kind of strange actually. I can see that it's repelling this paint a little bit, which I don't really understand why that is. It could be that I'm painting on the back of... Why is it repelling it? That's so strange. I've never really seen that before, but it could be that I'm painting on the back of the paper because this is watercolor paper, but I made my own book out of the watercolor paper, so I could be painting on the back, and which is why it's kind of repelling it a little bit. I can't really see any other reason. I don't know if you can see that, how it's repelling it, but to be honest, I don't really mind that so much because it kind of adds to the character. But it is a little bit annoying that it's doing that. I don't really know why. I also don't think you can see exactly what I was talking about. It's just down here, look. You can see it's repelling it a little bit. So this should be dry enough now for me to paint the roof. Also, I'm doing this to kind of test myself a little bit, like use colours maybe that I wouldn't usually use, or even to use colours that are not that traditional with Halloween. Obviously green is, and green and purple and orange is, but every time we look at Halloween things, it's always like bright purple or bright orange. So I've added those two colours in here, the purple and the orange, but then with the pale green it should give like a different look to it, I think. And I think that's what keeps illustrations interesting for me, like, is experimenting with the colour. I think colour is one of the most daunting things, because whenever you feel like I've got to put the colour on, to me that's where you can either feel like you've ruined the illustration or made it so much better. So that's the scariest part for me personally, is the colour. So also, I'm sorry if you can hear children laughing outside. There are children laughing outside, so that's why you can hear children laughing outside. It's getting really cold here in Japan too. It's definitely feeling like autumn, like all of a sudden all the leaves have changed and every single day they look so different, which I love because I really love the autumn leaves. So I'm going to use the orange for the pumpkins, and I think for like a glow on the inside of the house, I think that's where they'll be used best, I imagine. I apologise about the emergency services that are going on outside. So I'm going to paint the pumpkins orange because we still want to have the feeling of Halloween, even though it's not really traditional Halloween drawing, Halloween haunted house. And the reason I want to do this is because I drew some little ghosts inside the house, and by putting an orange background in there, it will enable you to see those little ghosts a little bit more. Like, you can see them already here in the windows. And I also want a little glow to be coming from this lantern, so I'm going to do some colour in the middle, and then I'm going to draw a circle outside of the lantern like that, and that's going to make it look like it's glowing. And I'll just soften the line around the edge of that so it gets more and more. I think that's a really effective way. Okay, so I have these three colours left, and I think I'm going to go with the blue on the door. I was a bit worried that it would cover the door because it's quite an opaque colour, and that is exactly what it's doing, so I might have to go over that again with the pen. I want the frames to be green, so what I'm going to do is the window ledges are going to be blue. And that's just so that it ties in with the colour of the door, because I don't want any colour to just be on its own. I want it all to look coherent. That's why I'm painting a little bit here and a little bit there. Okay, so I'm going to use the last, well, I say last colour, that I do have a little glittery colour as well, but I want to use the green on the windows. And this might not work because this green is so similar to the blue. But I was kind of hoping that they would just look nice together and not really blend together too much, but they do look like they're kind of blending in together. But maybe when they dry they'll look a little different. I'm using this paintbrush brand is called Nomura, and they're made in Japan. Specifically this one says Tokyo on it, which I think is quite interesting. And I got these a while ago, but I don't often use a brush this small, but I really like this brand. It's they're really nice to use. I don't know if you can get them anywhere else because, like I said, it says Tokyo on it, so I don't know if it's like exclusive or something. Weirdly, I didn't actually buy it from Tokyo. I bought it from an art shop where I live, which is much further north. So that doesn't really stand out like I'd hoped, so I'm going to do something afterwards to make that stand out. But I'm just going to finish the rest of these windows and then I will be back. I've just taken a little bit of time to redo the door because I lost a lot of the detail when I put the paint on, because like I said, this is quite opaque, the Gansai Tambi watercolour. Always call it watercolour, it's not watercolour. Anyway, I've got a white gel pen and I'm going to just add some little details. So I was going to add spots on the window frames to make them look slightly different to the window ledge. Okay, so I've done all the little dots and I think that adds a really nice, just a little bit extra to the windows. So I'm also going to add them to the window ledges, again to separate the two. And I really like pinstripes around Halloween time, so I'm kind of giving it like a pinstripe look. The ghosts and the pumpkins and also the shape of the house is really what makes it look more Halloween-y. The colour palette, obviously, I chose to be quite different just to see what it would look like. And I really like that. I'm really happy that I chose to do those colours because I would never usually choose to do them, so I've learned from it, I guess. So on the steps here, I don't want them to be just plain, so I'm going to add some little swirls just to kind of give everything a little bit of detail. So after just having a little look at the house, because it does look quite different when it's lying flat like this on the table and I'm looking over it. Ouch, just punched myself. I felt like it needed something on the like yellowy part of the house, so I'm gonna draw these purple pinstripes, and I think that hopefully will tie the roof in more with the house. Okay, so I've done a few little extra details off camera just so I could see properly, because I'm in a bit of an awkward position filming this so I couldn't actually see some of the details, so I just took it off camera, finished a few of the little details. I brightened up the windows as well because the orange had faded as well. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. I really like the way it turned out. It was a very like fun experimental way to paint something like this, to have all the colours already set out for me. and yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I think I'm going to do another haunted house and see how that one turns out, do it in different colors, and yeah, have some fun with it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see you next Sunday with a brand new video. Take care everyone, have a very happy Halloween, and I will see you next week. Bye.